Hello again, Gills fans. Welcome back to Gills in the Blood TV for what is our final Monday review of 2020. And what a 2020 it's been. The toughest of years for plenty of people. Not only in the UK, not only in Kent, but across the globe. We've all had to learn to live differently in a world full of COVID-19, unfortunately. But it's nearly at an end, and fingers crossed there is light at the end of a tunnel. And in 2021 at some point we may be able to get back to something approaching normality. But that's not the purpose of today's video. Obviously it's to look back at Saturday's 4-1 win at Scotland, a ground where we've not won at since 2009, a ground that I think plenty of Gills fans didn't think we'd win at this gone past weekend because of the fact that we'd lost the last two previously and hadn't played very well, and also coupled with the fact that we had a few players out injured and even those on the bench weren't fully fit. But as I say, we won 4-1. We were the better team comfortably from start to finish. We scored 4 good goals. We were really solid defensively. And even the frustrating concession of a late goal didn't do anything to dampen the spirits and take away from what was probably the perfect away performance. But that is enough from me for now. I'm going to leave you in the hands of someone else, someone you will recognise, certainly his voice. It is Reece from the Gills Fancast. And he is going to give you his 5-minute review of Saturday's 4-1 victory in the north of England.
Saturday's 4-1 win at Rochdale goes without saying, a fantastic result for Steve Evans and his team. More so given the week that we'd had prior, where obviously it's safe to say we was beyond disappointing in the defeats. One at Doncaster, where we didn't really compete throughout, and then at home on Tuesday against Accrington, where again we was comfortably beaten without overly threatening it at any stage during the game. And I have to be honest, myself, like probably many others, were seriously concerned about what was going to happen on Saturday when the team come out, and obviously through no fault of Evans or the team, where we're in such a unfortunate situations with injuries in the forward areas at the moment, with obviously Samuel, Coyle, Graham, and it turns out Oliver as well not being fully fit, that we started the game with, in essence, only one attacker on the pitch, and John Akindi. And I looked at that lineup and thought, well, there was going to for sure be plenty of effort as we'd expect from this group of players. I just didn't see there being enough quality in those forward areas for us to go and cause Rochdale problems and score goals. And well, couldn't have been more wrong in that regard. From the very first minute, Gills were on the front foot, pressing forward, plenty of chances throughout the game, and it was just nice that we rewarded ourselves nice and early with a quick goal, and a really smart goal as well, because again, I, like many others, raised eyebrows when the game kicked off, and I was reading on Twitter that Robin McKenzie seemed to be playing in the number 10 role, but there he was 5, 6, 7 minutes into the game to pop up on the end of a rebound like a good number 10 should. Obviously following from John Akindi, who himself I think probably had his best game since signing for us last January. His first goal was a really clever finish, having to bring down the flick from Ogilvie and then put it away, and then obviously he earns the penalty in the second half as well, which you know before Akindi come to us, he was known for his penalty taking, so there was never any doubt that he was going to put that away when he stepped up early in the second half. But it was just nice to see us creating the amount of opportunities we did, because we scored the 4 goals and it could have been more. Robertson had one saved in the second half, a smart save from the Rochdale goalkeeper. McDonald put one wide where Dempsey played him in, he probably should have scored. So I know sometimes people think it's a bit OTT when Evans goes on saying we could have scored 5, 6, 7, but Saturday was genuinely one of those occasions where, had we have walked off the pitch 7 or 8-1 winners, Rochdale could have had no complaints. And considering Scotland's a place that generally over the years we've struggled to pick results up, it was a pleasant surprise to see us come away with such an emphatic victory. And what was nice on Saturday is that we did seem to keep the ball on the floor a lot more than we had done. And listen, I know the style of play we have been playing recently does get a lot of stick, and I understand that, but I also see both sides, that there is more than one way to try and win a football match. But the Doncaster game was an example where we had 20% of the ball, and it wasn't enough. Whereas Saturday we was getting Eccles, Dempsey, those two especially heavily on the ball, Robertson too, and they're all good footballers, and if you can get them on the ball, they can make things happen. So that for me was one of the really big positives to come out of it, that it probably is no coincidence that we got the ball down and played football a lot more, and as a result, chances and goals come. But the important thing now is that we've got a little bit of a break. Hopefully we can get a couple of the injured players back. And yeah, when we restart after Boxing Day, hopefully we can kick on another little bit of run of form, because that's what we need. We seem to be in a bit of a stage at the moment where we'll pick up 2 or 3 good results and then 4 or 5 really poor ones. We just need to try and find that consistency that we found after Christmas last year. Because at the end of the day, we're mid-table at the moment, 6 points off the playoffs. It's not an impossible task. We're closer to it than we were at this stage last season. So it's just a case of getting into the new year and finding that consistency in terms of performances and results. And yeah, I still think there's plenty for us to get at in the second half of the season.
Cheers for the analysis of the weekend victory, Reece. Much appreciated as always, and it's good to have you back on the channel again. Fingers crossed I'll be able to see you in a football stadium sooner rather than later. Can't really disagree with anything that Reece has said. Like he mentioned, I think there was plenty of us that looked at the team on Saturday and thought, cool, where are we going to score the goals from? Where are we going to pose a threat from? There was little in the way of creativity. You was probably looking at Carl Dempsey in terms of technical ability from the middle of the park. We certainly didn't see Robbie McKenzie playing an advanced midfield role, so whether it was a bit of luck or a tactical masterstroke from Steve Evans, who cares? Robbie popped up with the first goal and was back to somewhere, well, he was back to his best after 2 poorer performances, after being really pivotal in that good run when we went 5 unbeaten before the back-to-back defeats. Thought Scott Robertson and Josh Eccles were massive positives. They put in probably their best displays in a Gillingham shirt, as did the front man, John Akindi, who was practically unplayable for most of the game. Played brilliantly with his back to goal. Rochdale didn't know how to defend against him. Managed to win flick-ons, win headers, was bringing it into his body and linking play with those running off of him. And I think Steve Evans was very clever. There was a little bit of a dispute at the start of the game what the formation was. Was it 4-2-3-1? Was it 4-3-2-1 like a Christmas tree? And Carl Dempsey and Alex McDonald getting closer to him, like almost effectively having 2 number 10s. I think watching the game, it was a 4-2-3-1. We had Robbie McKenzie, like I say, somewhat surprisingly in the 10. Scott Robertson and Josh Eccles anchored the midfield superbly well, considering the age of both of the low knees. And then it was Carl Dempsey from the left and Alex McDonald from the right with Big John up front. But what I thought McDonald and Dempsey done really well, and again, whether that was luck or judgment, I think it came from the fact that they're naturally central midfielders and have been for us this season. But what they did really well, when Jack Bonham or our fullbacks and centre-backs had the ball and looked to go a bit more direct, they tucked in and got close to John, which meant when he could bring it under control or flick it on, we had people running in behind and running beyond him. Josh Eccles, like I say, used the ball really well, as did Scott Robertson. And defensively, Jack Bonham didn't have loads to do. Made a couple of decent saves that you'd expect him to make and was generally tidy with everything that he did. Thought Ryan Jackson was another who probably put in his best performance in a Gill shirt, especially this season. Jack Tucker, another slightly slow start, couple of misplaced passes, but got better and better. Connor Ogilvie, absolutely superb again, a goal and an assist. And I thought Tommy O'Connor settled down at left back, and fingers crossed he can get a run of games in one position now and start bringing that consistency that he showed last season on loan. All in all, a really, really good afternoon's work, a really good performance and a top result, which sets us up nicely for what will be 2 winnable games approaching the new year, Northampton away and Plymouth away. Unfortunately, no game on Boxing Day for us because of the COVID situation at Peterborough. They've been forced to cancel the next 3 fixtures. In terms of positives and negatives from the game, I think the only negative was that we conceded. And like I say, that doesn't detract away from the fact that it was an absolutely spot-on performance away from home at a ground where we'd not won for 11 years. Positives, there were so many. Like I say, Ryan Jackson, Josh Eccles, Scott Robertson, John Akindi, all probably putting in their best performance in a Gillingham shirt, especially this season. And yeah, like I said, with McDonald and Dempsey getting closer and Josh Eccles or Robbie McKenzie or Scott Robertson taking it in turns to run in behind John Akindi when he did hold the ball up or flick it on, we created loads of chances. People have moaned about our lack of possession this season, moaned about our lack of shots on target and chances created. Well, you couldn't fault any of that at the weekend. I think we had 10 on target, 16 shots in total, scored 4, probably could have had a couple more. I remember the keeper making a really good save from Robbie McKenzie at 1-0. Alex MacDonald should have scored. after being presented with a really good chance after what seemed to me like a 10-15 pass move from back to front. And Scott Robertson forced the keeper into a really good save second period as well. So that's 3 other really good chances. On the other hand, we limited Rochdale to, I think, 1 good chance in the first half, which was the lad Alex Newby, I think it was, who got onto his left foot and Jack Bonham saved well with his legs. But all in all, like I say, a really good performance, a nice early Christmas present for us Gills fans. Right, that is enough from me. Please keep liking, subscribing, retweeting and doing all that you've done all year. I really do appreciate all the support. It has been tough for all of us. I know it's not been as fun watching me do Matchday Live from my lounge, watching a laptop. The sooner we can get back into football grounds, the much better for everybody it'll be. Like I say, thanks for the ongoing support through 2 lockdowns. It is really appreciated. From myself, and I am sure from Boz and Stocky as well, over on Gills in the Blood Injury Time, a very Merry Christmas. And let's hope for a much more prosperous and healthy new year. Until next time, up the Gills.